The price for repairing a pier and beam foundation depends on the level of damage, depth, and stability of your foundation. In many cases, homeowners spend between $1,000, $5,000 on foundation repairs, but the cost could be higher if major foundation issues require extensive work. This answer to this question might vary since each home has its unique characteristics, and each property owner has different needs and expectations for repairing their home's foundation. This article will look at the various factors influencing foundation repair costs and the risks involved. Why do you need a pier and beam foundation repair? Fixing your pier and beam foundation is one of the best ways to protect your house investment. By recognizing foundation problems earlier than later, you will be able to avoid the risk of needing to remove your home's foundation and rebuild it. We know what causes foundation problems, and we present a permanent solution. Before you buy a home, have our expert structural engineer inspect the foundation and crawl space. Get the process started by scheduling an appointment for an inspection. Foundation damage is a serious problem that, if left unchecked, can lead to catastrophic consequences. The good news is that you can stop further foundation damage with repair and maintenance. Repair work is easier for pier and beam foundations than concrete foundations. Average pier and beam foundation repair cost in Austin. It can range from $1,300, $1,500 per pier. Depending on the supporting structure, how many piers are needed, soil conditions, and other variables specific to your home. Pier and beam foundations require routine maintenance and repairs to prevent major issues like a sinking foundation or sagging floor joists. A structural engineer report will help you get a detailed overall foundation repair cost. There are many reasons your foundation can become damaged and cause your home to shift. If you have been noticing more and more cracks in the walls of your home or around the windows, you may need a pier and beam foundation repair. Fixing your foundation is a wise investment. If you think it's time to get your foundation professionally repaired, our Austin structural engineer will help you decide on the best solution to restore stability to your home. Factors that affects pier and beam foundation repair cost. When it's time to go shopping for a house, the first thing we all do is browse websites where we come across beautiful homes. Most of us wish to purchase such a home as an investment or for living purposes. However, before making a purchase, make sure that you know every inch of the building. It is essential to understand what is causing the foundation issues before repairing it. A professional foundation repair contractor can help you with this since they can give you enough information about the structure and condition of a building that you're depending by. The first thing to do is to get a structural engineer report which includes the findings and recommendations on the current state of your house. Here are some essential tips to consider when researching pier and beam foundation repair costs. Before you even consider hiring a company to fix your foundation, you should be aware of these factors. Building size and use. The size of the building and the use to which it is applied typically influence the cost of pier and beam foundation repair. Size is a factor because it affects how much labor, materials, and machinery are needed to lift the weight. Large buildings used for commercial purposes are much more expensive to repair than residential ones. The age of the foundation. Naturally, an older structure is likely to need more work than a relatively new one. The cost will depend on how extensive the repairs are and how much effort has to go into fixing them. Keep in mind that certain parts of the country experience more severe weather than others. For instance, foundations tend to get damaged faster in areas with a lot of rainfall and humidity because water seeps into cracks and joints. Scope of repair work. The overall condition of the foundation is a critical factor that determines the cost of repair work. Wood decay, rotting, or termite damage influence pier and beam foundation repair costs. If your foundation needs only a little work, you will not spend as much as someone who needs significant repairs. The materials used for repairs. Pier and beam foundations are commonly wood or concrete. Using steel piers can increase the overall cost because these types are generally more expensive than wood ones. If you decide to use cheaper materials, there is no guarantee that they will last long. You have to realize that this is one area where you should never compromise quality over price, as this part of your house needs high-quality materials. Soil quality. The soil quality around your home's foundation makes a difference in pier and beam foundation repair costs. If soil quality is poor and difficult to work with, this can cause additional labor costs to rise. Poor construction practices. If your home is built using poor construction practices, it likely has a weak foundation. You will have to spend more on pier and beam foundation repair costs because of this. One way to avoid this problem is by hiring reputable contractors who use high-quality materials. How to find a pier and beam foundation repair company. Are you looking for a company to fix a sagging pier and beam foundation in your home? If so, you need to do some homework first. Here are some tips on making sure the company you hire is reputable and will use the best construction practices. Look for a local business specializing in pier and beam foundation repair. It should have a reputable online presence with lots of positive reviews on Google, Yahoo, Yelp, and the Better Business Bureau. Check out its website and make sure it's professional looking. If it looks amateurish or unprofessional, move on. Don't choose any company that doesn't provide free quotes or estimates before beginning work so you can compare prices from other contractors in your area first. The best information source is from people you trust. Ask friends and family. If you know anyone who has recently had work done on their home, ask them for recommendations. Don't be afraid to ask about pricing because it will help you understand the average cost for this type of work.